All right, I have 6 o'clock, so we'll call our Charter Township of Long Lake Board of Trustees regular board meeting to order for August 11th. If we all rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Wheelock. Balderak.
Here.
Wagner. Schab.
Here.
Sievert.
Here.
Lemkool.
Here.
And Robinson is absent and excused.
So our first public comment. You go ahead and read that, Heidi, please. Hang on a
Any
second.
person shall be permitted to address this meeting of the Board of Trustees, which is required to be open to the public under the provision of the Michigan Open Meetings Act as amended. Public comments shall be carried out in accordance with the following. Number 1, any person wishing to address the board shall state their name and address. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same manner, excluding time needed to answer trustees' questions. The chairperson shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The chairperson may extend the amount of time each person is allowed to speak. If a group wishes to address the board, the chairperson may require the group to designate a spokesperson. The town board does not respond to comments other than questions by the trustees or to make a necessary clarification. Silence or non-response from the board should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the board.
Hello, my name is Brace Kern, and my professional address is 3434 Veterans Drive, but I'm also a township resident. As you know, I represent the neighborhood regarding Twin Lakes deed restriction violation committed by you. You have no right to own Twin Lakes Park. Only the county does. So why does the township, who receives all the benefits of Twin Lakes being located in the township and not being responsible for any of the costs because the county has to pay for it, why does that township insist on owning the park and making its residents pay for it? Everyone wants to know the logic behind your decision. None of us can understand your insistence on ownership. We've heard you say, quote, local government is uniquely positioned to manage community spaces like Twin Lakes Park, end quote. But management doesn't require ownership. Why don't you enter into a management agreement with the county? You already have a similar cooperation agreement with the Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy for the timbers. So why must you own Twin Lakes when you could manage it? Why do you insist on violating the deed restriction? Here's the only thing I've come up with. You want Twin Lakes Park lost to privatization. If the 176-acre park was turned into 176 one-acre lots, the township could expect around an extra $1 million per year in property taxes. Of course, the developer of Twin Lakes' new 176 luxury homes would need someone to install heating and air conditioning in all of those new builds. I wonder if the developer would go local with that contract, perhaps even repay a favor. Recently, the county approved a motion to meet to discuss the matter. You declined to meet. It instead issued a press release dated July 30th. In there, you falsely claim, quote, the lawsuit was ultimately dismissed as lacking merit, end quote. My question to you is, why do you feel the need to lie to push your agenda? You made a sitting county commissioner take to Facebook to try to correct your lie, and you still haven't retracted it. There's another lie in your press release saying you are, quote, committed to protecting the property and ensuring it remains a place for residents and visitors to enjoy for generations. You are not protecting those values. You are the very party risking loss of the park to privatization by insisting that you own it rather than just management. So here's what I'm asking from you today. Make a motion to meet to discuss the matter. What's the harm in a conversation that seeks to resolve a dispute between the townships and its residents? And perhaps when you're considering this issue, may I suggest that you do 2 things. Number 1, don't take the advice of the lawyer who would profit off of litigating. Send a different lawyer to the meeting. And 2, please choose to send a representative whose mind wasn't made up on this issue 20 years ago by his dad. Send somebody objective. who isn't taking this issue so personally. That's your job as trustees. Or don't, and continue to lose the public's trust. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Samuel Gedman. I just came here to introduce myself, to say hello to all of you. About a little over 2 months ago now, I was appointed county clerk here in Grand Traverse County, and I've just been going around and showing my face to all the local boards, letting you know that our office is open for business and that we're anxious to hear from any of you if there's anything the county clerk's office can do for you. I've been fortunate to work in our vital records office at the county for about 6 years now, before assuming this position, and I'm very excited to sort of continue a really good legacy of public service, of efficient service, friendly service to our community. Very excited to offer a few new initiatives. I'm going to start doing weddings again down at the governmental center, so if you know anybody who wants to get married, I'd be happy to stand up and marry them for a small fee. We're also doing background checks now, so we have live scan fingerprinting and background checks, so we've got a few new little initiatives to try to add some service and some flair. We just got done with a very successful election, canvassed it today, as a matter of fact. No problems at all at Long Lake. I thought while we're here, I'd just make sure to make a mention of how great a job your local clerks here do, making sure that your election services are on point. So if there's anything I can do for anyone, if you'd like to talk about any of the services the clerk's office offers or anything you'd like to see us offer, please don't be a stranger. Down there at the governmental center every day from 8 to 5, be happy to talk about it. So nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thanks to
Thank you,
Sam.
Sam.
Also a Long Lake resident, I should add.
All right.
And so is my chief deputy. So we're very excited for that community aspect of it as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kay Gallagher Ingraham, Long Lake Township. Before you approve your June 9th board minutes, I'm requesting 2 changes. I do not want my street address listed in public comments. I was informed at a planning commission meeting that a resident does not have to state their street address at a public comment. Also, at the June 9th meeting, I handed Heidi a printout of my comments and asked her to add them to your board packet. It is not in your packet. In reviewing your previous approved minutes, your current signed code of ethics was never added. Your year 2025 audit is not listed on the township's website. I would like an explanation of why you're not presenting your budget versus actual for this year. I was expecting to at least see through June of this year. There is no way that any decisions can be made by this board without the financial information up to date. How can you go ahead with the dormitory renovations when in grants you have only received $55,000, donations from 2025 of $36,000, supplier projected contribution of $35,000, and as your March revenue and expenditure reported this year, $3,540 line item, other donations, contributions? I'm not sure if that's for the dormitory. By not seeing your actual numbers, you have no way of knowing if the private donor donated the $100,000, which was promised June 1st. You are going to use our funds to pay for the remodel with the hopes of the grants being awarded and donations, and are going to start a project and pay with future unknown revenue from the park reservation. When we were told as taxpayers the most out of pocket could be around $60,000. You should not be doing this remodel during an active lawsuit, and especially with all other complaints that have come to light over the illegal transfer of the park. Your job as a trustee is to be good fiduciaries of our funds.
Good evening. My name is Pam Kaiser. I live at 1309 Old Long Lake Road. And as a taxpayer of Grand Traverse County and Long Lake Township, I'm really concerned about the future of Twin Lakes Park and the current litigation that is ongoing. And I want to express my concern and disappointment that this board voted not to have a meeting to discuss avoiding litigation and following the wishes of Judge Gilbert, which were very clear when he donated Twin Lakes Park, quite deliberately as an attorney and judge, to Grand Traverse County and not Long Lake Township. I have, as a former paralegal, reviewed those deeds, and I am concerned that the whole board who voted to take on Twin Lakes Park on behalf of Long Lake Township, which is not what the judge specified, did not read the deed. If the board had read the deed, they may have paused and said, if we move forward, we are looking at possibly losing this park in a legal review. And that's what I'm worried about today. I value Twin Lakes Park as a natural place for people to go away from traffic and to a place that a judge set forth for the county. As a county resident, I pay taxes to support county parks and recreation. I did not expect to find Long Lake Township, a much smaller entity, taking on the cost of the park. And I am asking you to reflect, as citizens of Long Lake Township and as our legal representatives, did you make a mistake by deciding not to meet with counsel to discuss avoiding litigation and reviewing now the facts that Attorney Brace Kern has done a wonderful job of laying out in his Facebook discussions, that everyone can understand you can't accept a piece of land and transfer it between public entities without following the wishes of the grantee. And those were not followed, they were violated. I'm very concerned about this. I'd like you to review this and keep this park a park. It will revert to the heirs of Judge Gilbert, who will certainly have developers buy it and they will develop it. And we will lose a beautiful natural park. It will change our ecosystem. I am asking you to please revisit this discussion and your decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing none, we'll go on, excuse me, to the consent calendar.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be approved by one motion. Any member of the board may ask if any item on this consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Tonight's consent calendar includes the Township Board minutes of July 14th, the Treasurer's report from June, the Treasurer's second quarter report, the Planner's report for July of 26, a Planning Department memorandum on data centers, zoning report for July of 26, Ordinance Enforcement Officer report from July, Parks Department report from July, the Executive Assistant report from July, as well as the check register for July, the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's report, the Grand Traverse County Road Commission, and the Emergency Services Station report, all from July of 26, and also the order of dismissal for the Maxon case.
Right. Can I get a motion support for the consent calendar?
Support.
All right, motion for support by Dan, support by Linda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Approve or amend the agenda. The only, I have to remove Commissioner Morris. She's under the weather today, so she was not here today. So if I get a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended to remove the special report from Commissioner Morris.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Dan, seconded by Kevin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Excuse me, any conflict of interest on the statement today? Hearing none, all those, we'll go on to special reports. Grand Traverse County Sheriff. Get rid of this frog.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Sean.
Hello. Not too much to report. Since the last meeting, 88 calls for service for me. Probably pretty normal for the summer. It's getting a little bit busy. And then the hot topic in the news was the break-ins at the homes that are under construction, the 2 juveniles that were caught by the help of a citizen who identified them on a video. So I want to thank the citizen for their help. Lots and lots of damage, to say the least. So I'm glad that that is over and done with. Other than that, I really don't have a whole lot to report. Was it last meeting that I talked about the fraud presentation, or I have yet to talk about that? That was last meeting?
I haven't talked about it.
I haven't talked about it yet. Okay, I'm getting my dates really
It was
mixed
the
up.
next Sunday.
Okay. So we did do the fraud presentation. Linda was there.
That was.
Hopefully you learned a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, perfect. We'll probably do another one maybe in the fall, so that, and maybe not on a Sunday because it was a nice day and nobody was here. So understandable. That might have been my mistake. But I'm okay with the turnout, and everybody went away learning something. So if we can prevent one additional fraud, then I think I've done my job.
It was well presented, Sean.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Any questions? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we have Grand Traverse County presentation, Joshua Way. You have to help me through your slide, Joe, so.
Appreciate it.
Hello all.
Is there a player for this?
Just the present option from beginning,
I have an old one. There we go.
if it will cooperate.
If it will.
There we go.
There it goes.
Perfect. To introduce myself, I'm Joshua Way. I'm the Deputy Director at Grand Traverse Central Dispatch and have been for the past year. We're trying to get out to all the townships, all the communities, just do a report over data that we're seeing, call increases, activity in the community, and I just wanted to do a special education tonight too on a surcharge increase that we have coming up on the November ballot. So, next slide, please. So brought some data from the past 3 years. 2026 is not included because it's not completed as of yet, but we're seeing a significant increase in emergency calls for service. 2024's data is a little bit skewed because during that year we also suffered a cybersecurity incident and lost about a month's worth of data over the month of June, which typically the summer months are a little bit more significant when it calls. So that data is just a little bit lower than we're expecting it to be. But from 2023 to 2025, we're seeing about 255 increased calls for service, and this is just Long Lake Township. Next slide, please. The call volume we're seeing increase more on the law enforcement end than we're actually seeing on fire EMS. About 20% increase in calls for service specific to law enforcement. Those aren't necessarily all criminal complaints. As Deputy McGarrett can definitely tell you guys, we're seeing car accidents, we're seeing like non-severe, non-critical criminal complaints. We're just seeing a higher rise of calls for service. Next one, please. This is a comparison just from the first January through June timeline across all 4 years, including 2026, to kind of show you that we're still expecting increased calls for service by the end of this year. So this is a comparison from January to June of the last 4 years, including this one. So we're seeing an increase. We're seeing it across the county. Everything's going up. More calls for service. We're getting more phone calls into the 911 center. We're sending more responses out to the citizens, the community. Population's increasing. We're seeing that increase during the summer months due to the festivals, due to the events. We're just seeing overall increases as it's kind of expected as time goes on. And the last slide, please. That kind of brings me to this point, just an educational piece for y'all that this November we're going onto the ballot for an increase of our surcharge. We're going up from $2.50 to $3. What that means is each user that has a phone plan inside the county, you get a $2.50 surcharge pulled off that bill. That goes directly to the 911 center of the county that your phone bill is registered to. So we're asking for a 50-cent increase just to help maintain operations as we continue to grow. We have a new building that we have had groundbreaking on. We're seeing walls start to go up. New facility that's not only the emergency communications center and 911 center, but also emergency operations center for emergency management. So we're going to co-locate in a new building that's going off of Lafreniere. And we're expecting that to be finished April next year, hopefully, and start moving in. This is my presentation for y'all.
Nice, thank you.
How's the, are you guys using the AI stuff to help answer calls yet, or how's that going? Or-
So we started that with our non-emergency calls only. They do not touch the 911 lines at all. So if someone calls in, into our non-emergency line, you'll hear our Ava is the name of the AI agent. You'll hear her ask what's going on, communicate to her as you would a normal person. If it's something that she identifies as a potential emergency, anything medically related, any kind of fire, smoke, immediately goes into a dispatcher. Triages that non-emergency line a little bit better than we do today, or did before having this agent. In terms of call routing, you'll see it be able to direct you to the place that you need to go to faster. If you're calling for an issue at the jail or the clerk, something along those lines, he'll be able to route you directly there without a live dispatcher needing to be involved in that dispatch process or that reroute process. And we're able to spin up some basic information on things like Cherry Festival, community events. We're able to spin up knowledge into it. Where it can answer basic questions just based off of the community needs, like what time is fireworks tonight for 4th of July or any other event. We're able to give it that knowledge, to give that answers without a live person being involved. We're seeing, to be honest, mixed feedback with it. We're still customizing it. We're still building it up, and we need more data to do that in a more effective way. But we're excited to see it be able to take some of the basic calls, super basic, and just rerouting, directing you to a new place, being able to pull that away from the dispatchers so that they can spend time on 911 calls or dispatching radio communications.
Cool. Good. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you for your time, guys.
All right, so now we'll go on to AEI Roaring Fork LLC zoning ordinance 02-2601.
All right, good evening. So before you is a zoning ordinance amendment application. And before I get into the details of what it would be, just a little background on it. Zoning ordinance amendments can come from three places, either you guys, the Planning Commission, or an applicant may request one. Michigan Zoning Enabling Act requires that the Planning Commission review the application and then give a recommendation to the Township Board whether or not to adopt that amendment. This particular application has been submitted by AEI Roaring Fork. They are the owners and operators of Suburban Estates. That's on the corner of Strait and North Long Lake Road over by Moomers and Fresh Coast. They went to the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission actually held 2 public hearings regarding this after a revision of the application. The Planning Commission compared the zoning ordinance amendment against the master plan and found the compatibility within that, and then is now recommending a adoption of the ordinance application to the Township Board. And with that, I'll go into details a little bit further about what that adoption would entail and what would change if you guys choose to adopt the ordinance amendment.
Cody,
Ron?
do you want this dongle so you can do your...
Sure, that might be a little more efficient. I was just going to ask you what the zoning
That way you're not scroll here, scroll there.
Yeah, no, that's appreciate that. Let's see if the system will respond for us here. Okay, so the application that has been recommended to the Township Board, this is what it will change. It's in the local business district, so if you look at our zoning map, we have multiple colors across. Pink areas are our local business district. So we have some over here in the North Activity Center area, the Straight North Long, East Long section, and then we have some parcels over here in the Northwest Long, also known as our West Activity Center. What the applicant and the change will do is currently the applicant is operating their manufactured housing community as a legally existing non-conforming use, meaning we don't currently allow manufactured housing communities in the local business district. What that does for them is they are not allowed to, per zoning rules, move a coach. They're not allowed to add more coaches. They are legally existing non-conforming. They have to operate exactly as they are today. As you can imagine, that gives them some headaches from an operational standpoint. It also gives some issues when we talk about their road commission in that peanut roundabout or dog bone roundabout that's been discussed with length with the road commission. So as part of our master plan, there's language in our master plan that cites allowing a mechanism to have them either move coaches or expand or make room for that roundabout, but also gives them some flexibility when it comes to operational requirements. So the ordinance that is being recommended to you does two things basically, or mainly one. It would add the manufactured housing community use as a conditional land use in that zoning district. So there's two types of land uses, permitted and conditional. Permitted, the landowner is able to do it as long as they meet minimum standards. Conditional land use, they have to meet minimum standards, but it also goes in for a review by the Planning Commission. So if this were to be adopted tonight, they are still existing legally non-conforming entity that would then have to submit another application to the Planning Commission for the review for a new site plan if they choose to move a coach around or expand coaches in that nature. The only parcels this would affect, like I said, are those in pink represented, and then actually manufactured housing communities are also governed at a state level. The state allows us to pick and choose which zoning districts we put them in. It does not allow us to dictate an internal road structure, internal road layout, buffering. Those types of items are all dictated at the state level in the state statute. So I guess just to recap, and I'd be happy to answer questions because I'm sure there are some, the applicant is requesting to become a legally conforming use by way of a conditional land use application to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission has reviewed this and is recommending adoption to the Township Board, and I am happy to answer any questions. Our applicant is also present if you have any site-specific for them as well.
So basically what you're saying, just to clarify, is that whenever they do something there, no matter what, they have to come to the Planning Commission, or is it a staff approval at that point?
No, it's a Planning Commission approval. So if they want to become legal existing and conforming, they have to submit a conditional land use to the Planning Commission with also attached to that as a site plan review. So the Planning Commission will be able to look at the site plan, make sure it meets our standards, which the internal composition matches the state statute. So we would, in practice, be allowing them to move coaches around, and we'd also be allowing them to expand coaches within the state statute structure. So that goes with septic. They're limited by septic and water and providing that to the coaches, so.
Okay. Because legally right now, if something happened, they needed to move, let's say the road did go in, I don't know, but they would, any of those trailers sitting, they would just have to just get rid of them.
So the most practical, yeah, there's 6 coaches that sit on the south end of that property. If the road commission decided to expand that roadway and deemed that those coaches were unsafe, they would force them to remove them, and then our zoning law would not allow them to relocate them on the property. So we'd basically be evicting 6 coaches.
So if they got the conditional, then, so any time that they needed to move something, they did have to come in and get approval to do that every time, or they could just?
Correct. So that conditional land use is in conjunction with a site plan. So if that site plan is approved by the Planning Commission, any amendment to that site plan also has to be reviewed by the Planning Commission. So it'd always be under review.
Okay.
Cody, you made the comment that it would also fall under the state's rules for such pieces of property.
Yep.
And that there could be still an opportunity for more to go in there at this point then under that guideline, that right now they clearly could not.
So, correct, under our rules, they would not be
more?
able to add additional coaches. If they wanted to add additional coaches to the property, let's say this is adopted tonight, that 6 of you decide to move forward with the zoning ordinance amendment. They have to go to the Planning Commission and get approval to use the land in that manner. But they also have to have state approval from a licensing standpoint of adding the additional coaches. They're limited, and I don't want to speak for them, they're here if they want to speak for it, but most of the time, manufactured housing communities are going to be limited not by the space, but by the septic or water they can provide, because they have to, we don't regulate septic or water, we allow the county to do that, but in this instance, the state does it, so they have to find a septic program that is, adheres to Eagle standards in order to accommodate the correct number of spaces. And what the planning commission will do when they review the site plan is expect that that permit would come from Eagle before that land use is approved, or as a condition of it, depending on how they choose to adopt that.
So just out of curiosity, do you know what that means, of how many more might go into that space? Or
I'll let the applicant speak to that. I don't know their exact number.
Okay, just curious. I mean, this would be a change that we would make that would allow that to happen, where right now it couldn't happen.
Potentially, yes. If the planning commission approved their site plan and the conditional land use, there is a potential to increase coaches. The exact number, I'll let the applicant speak to.
Sure. And I'm not indicating that's a problem, I'm just curious.
Yep.
If we're going to make a change, what would that mean for increased density?
Would you like the applicant to
Sure.
answer that for you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Kyle Stoner. I live in San Diego County, California. Ron, Dan, nice to see you again. Linda, Dwayne, Kevin, Kendra, nice to meet you. We're estimating an additional 25 units max. So as Cody mentioned, we're really limited by the infrastructure we're willing to put into the park for this expansion. So Eagle has a number of different permit levels, and there's a permit level that we're not willing to exceed based on what we can financially put into the park for this project. So 25 is about, we might not even get to 25, to be honest with you, but yeah, but that would be the max.
My concern would be those 6 dwellings that would be affected if that road, got put in.
Yeah.
Instead of evicting, there would be a spot for them.
For sure.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We would approach each one of those tenants and say, hey, listen, you have the option to move, within our park if you choose. Here's a spot for you. If you choose to take it somewhere else, you can do that. But yeah, that's the intention, is to have a spot for them. Yep. Anything else? No?
Thank you.
All right, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'd make a motion to approve zoning ordinance amendment 02-26-01.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Dan, and then seconded by Kevin. Any further discussion? I have one. I just want to thank the Planning Commission for all their work on this. I know they've been working a lot, and Cody, I know you've been working on it, and I think this allows more housing for people that can afford the coaches and gives them a place to do that as well. So thank you for all the hard work.
Yep.
Any other comments? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. All right, thank you,
Yeah.
Cody.
Thanks, Cody.
Oh, yeah, gotta have that back, don't I?
Ron, does that have to be a roll call? Because zoning ordinance amendment?
I don't know,
It's
does
an
it have to be a roll
ordinance.
call?
It does not.
Does
Sorry,
not.
I know you're not asking me.
Asking
If from a
somebody.
township board, you can do it by motion.
Okay.
Okay.
The planning commission has to do a roll call vote.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so next we have our trust fund grant for Cedar Run Creek. This is the award that we were awarded recently, and we're processing through this one. So basically, we need to approve all funds necessary to complete the project, period, to provide $133,200 to match the grant authorized. So that's our grant for that one. So this is our resolution to move this project forward. This is money that we budgeted for this. This is where that will create the UA trails, boardwalk through the lower areas. So,
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 8-26-8, authorizing the acceptance of the Michigan DNR Trust Fund grant.
Support.
all right, motion by Dan, supported by Kendra. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderack,
Yes.
Sievert,
Yes.
Schab,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Wheelock,
Yes.
and Lemkool.
Yes. Motion passes. All right, now we'll go on to the CD3, which is a boat wash, solar-powered station for Gilbert Park. We applied for a grant for this. We come in, we got the grant for $40,000. The total is $52,655 for this, to put that in. This is a mobile unit, so it goes in, and then in the winter, we pull it out. We have reached out and have not heard anything back from the Long Lake Association, to see if they would help out with this one. But we're asking them to help out since it's boats going in and out of the lake, so. So it's $12,655 that we'd have to come up with. So, but it gives another wash station. This one gets used a lot. The association's moving forward with their other one at Crescent Shores, and so this one is the other one, so.
I know it's been a successful pet project years at the wash stations. I mean, do you have any familiarity with this? I mean, it looks like a pretty interesting piece of equipment, but a lot of moving pieces and parts and electronics. I see Jim's kind of on the hook here to kind of help out keeping the thing maintained.
Yeah, they're used at several township parks and throughout Grand Traverse County. This is the third time I think we reached out for this grant. Other communities have gotten them. And a lot of times they sit at places that are unmanned, and so they would pull out and use it. And this one's all air, so they blow the boat off versus the hot water. And then they can use the tongs, pull out the different weeds and stuff like that out of the boats. So this is one that they're putting in areas that don't have power and stuff like that, so. And this is also, Benzie County Boat Wash, the Benzie County Watershed has been supporting these, and that's who we've been getting the grants from to do the different, clean your boats and stuff like that, grants from.
Would it hurt us, I mean, if we authorize this tonight, obviously the opportunity for getting outside funding might kind of shrivel up with.
Well, all we do is ask. I mean, we do budget $12,000 for lake studies, and, if we choose to use some of that, we can. But there is money in the parks to do different stuff, or in our fund balance.
What's the I mean, is there a date that you need to accept this by?
They're waiting for our approval to fund it.
Ron, the project name is Long Lake and Platte River Watershed Support, so what does that have to do with us?
So we're all
Platte
part of the
River.
Platte River Watershed. We're the headwaters for watershed.
Oh, okay. I should know that.
So we received the grant already, and our portion is, or is this,
When we approve this tonight, then we will get the grant money.
okay, so basically, is it like the other grants where we pay up front and then they just write us a check for the 44 and we're on the hook for the balance, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the Eagle Watershed Council grant, CD3 boat wash station. That's
Support.
presented.
All right, we have motion by Kevin, support by Kendra. Any further discussion? I will continue working with Long Lake Association.
Good.
I think they can pay for part of this. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. All right, next is the Traverse Area District Library. We have two representatives, Michelle and Heather here. Let me pull that one up there. So this is, we've been talking about putting a locker on the back of our building for people to pick up their library books and drop off books. So this unit, and it looks like that, instead of that one up there, but, so this one will sit out there, so they will come by and put the books in it based on your library card. You order your book, and they'll come out here, you'll swipe your library card, locker opens up, you grab your book, take your book, do your stuff, and then put it back in. And the goal is we'll put it in the back of the corner by the old entrance on that sidewalk walking up where our AED is and the Narcan is. So it'll sit there. Todd has reviewed the memorandum of understanding and approves it. Our job is to have a cement slab where it sits, put the electrical in, which we already have it there with our AED, and have a camera, which we already have. So all those items are there, and then during the winter, we just got to keep it clear. That is our expense into this. And then they will supply the unit, which is what, $23,000? And they'll put this in, so it'll all be automated for everybody, which is the first one in this area. So it brings the library,
Love it.
instead of building the building over here, it brings it right here. So,
I think it's wonderful. I'll use it. They're driving in town.
any questions for Michelle and Heather?
Thanks.
I had them come all the way out here just for this.
That's okay, Heather's on her way home, and I don't mind.
Well, then I'll thank you for coming out and thank you for putting this together for our township.
And you do think it'll be used a lot? I mean, would there be a time that you think, boy, this was a bad investment and we need to pull it from there? Or do you think it'll just be growing?
Well, we sure hope so.
Yeah.
We came last fall and we did a book fair here at this space.
Yep.
We brought the bookmobile out to a couple farm markets.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we just, ever since COVID, we've put a lot of thought into how to enhance our services around the edges of the county. And so this is a technology that helps make that possible. And we already use it in many parts of our library. So our security gates, our self-checks, some of our software, they're all part of the same company. So we have a lot of faith in it.
Good.
And it will work a lot like the Lowe's pickup, if anybody's done a Lowe's pickup. Instead of scanning your receipt, you scan your card, and then your door pops open. And you take your things out, and they're checked out to you. So we're excited.
Yeah, and thanks for being the guinea pigs of this project. They are already in their 5th generation of lockers. They started around the pandemic, and this company is one we've always dealt with, like Heather said. And so this is the 5th generation of these, and they're really slick and easy to use, and easy on our side to program it. Someone comes out, scans a card, loads all those stuff, closes the door, and then the patron gets the notification that their hold is ready, and they can come over and get it anytime they want. So they're excited.
How often will you be supplying books to that center, like every day or every other?
A little bit to be determined.
Yeah.
We're thinking at least a few times a week.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Good.
It depends on the holds. So if someone puts holds on something, then we'll, as soon as we get it, we can bring it out. But I guess there could be lulls where nobody has a hold on it, so that we won't come out. But as soon as we get the holds, we have a system already organized.
Okay.
So that we'll get notified, we put, in an area with the box, with the number for the locker, and then it'll come out.
So when you request a hold, you can request that it be held here, right?
So right now, when you request a hold, it'll ask you what location
Right.
you want it, Woodmere, Interlochen, wherever, and you'll be able to pick Long Lake lockers.
Love it.
I know they had a lot of activity last Thursday at the farmer's market.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was really busy.
I haven't renewed my library card from 2000.
I don't actually have a card anymore.
I didn't think I did either, but they showed I had one, so.
Where do, I guess we would go to the main branch to get a card?
We never take anybody else, so you probably still got a record in there.
I have a record, and I use it a lot, and like to Linda's point, I have stuff sent to Green Lake because I hate going into town. And I admit, I oftentimes extend my holdings for no other reason than I don't want to drive all the way over there. So this will make the system more efficient, and I feel guilty when I do that.
Wonderful.
But nobody else has it on hold, so clearly it's just going to be sitting on a shelf, so I don't feel too guilty. But I think this is great. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah, so if you want them to tell me to renew your library card, once this gets up and running, because once we sign the contract, it's 4 to 6 weeks before it gets shipped, but that gives us time to get everything done. You can always go to Interlochen, renew the card, and put it in.
It's real easy for renewal. I had to do mine too.
Yeah.
For many, many, many years ago, so.
Good.
Mhm.
Right.
All right. Great.
Any further discussion?
No.
Can I get a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve the Traverse Area District Library book locker, what is it?
MOU.
The MOU, memorandum of understanding.
All right.
And I'll second.
We have a motion by Dan, second by Linda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Well, thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you.
Thanks. Here, while you're here, I'll just sign this. You can send me a copy. That shit here. I'll get it to her.
The Red Box movies.
All right,
The Red Box.
so now we'll go on to our budget discussion.
Nice.
So a couple things tonight is, one, we have our L 4029 that needs to be approved before the end of September, which is the millage rates that we set. That, I recommend that we don't really make any changes to that for this year, or for '27. So we can approve that in September, so we'll have that, but the county's I've already pre-given it to them, so they can start working on their numbers. So we'll have that motion in September for that, just FYI, okay? A couple things, just going through, in front of you have the asset management, just talks about different things with the dates. I try to keep it updated every time we upgrade something. And then for our study sessions, these are just some thoughts that are out there so that you guys are aware, so that we can continue. I can put some more stuff in the budget. Currently, as it sits, it's about negative 16,000 for the year, but that's just as numbers have plugged in, and we'll work through those as we go. But to our notes, these are some things that have been out there for a little while. We got the Long Lake Watershed Master Plan that was done in 2009. We are part of Benzie County. They received a grant to do theirs. They meet, the Platte River Watershed currently meets here quarterly, so we're part of those discussions. But their grant only included what they're doing from where it hits the county line versus ours, even though they know ours is part of it, but went to a meeting, and so now they're including us in those. And this is central for all them, so they come here and meet. So it makes it nice. So we should look at doing that eventually. DNR has asked us to eventually do an application for a grant for that. So we'll work through that as soon as they finish up theirs. Our forestry management plan, we used to have a tree forestry management plan. The question is, do we want to get into that? It's always hard when you cut trees. People don't like that part, but sometimes it's best to manage the trees. But that's out there if people want to get to that. And I can bring some tree people in to discuss that, arborist, if that's something you want to do. We've done programs at South Long Lake Forest Management Plan, and then we've done some stuff at Cedar Run Creek in the past. Haywood Park, just a couple projects to look at. Our parking lot ceiling is looking at for next year. What do we do around the bocce ball court? There was always the design berm that was around it to keep kind of some noise off the road stuff. Connecting our walking trail around that as well to make our walking trail longer. So those were some thoughts. And then enclose the Porta-John over on that park like our other ones currently are. Kind of makes them look nicer. Although I did notice today that people don't know it's a Porta-John behind it because they're asking where the bathrooms were. So we have to put some signs up. Signage. Someone pulled in a parking lot looking for the John. So baseball diamonds, this is kind of we did all their fields, but, one of the things to look at, some of the fencing, just to give you some ideas what some of this could cost. They're about $40,000 to redo the fence around each baseball field to bring them. They're doing, some of them are, they're still good. There's no need, but it's something that we should look at future budgeting to look at those to make sure that we have the proper fencing and safeties and stuff.
Do we get any payment from the baseball leagues that play here? No. So it's all us.
So there used to be a Long Lake Little League.
Right.
And we used to get it from them, but now it's used by Travers Little League. Mm-hmm. And they don't play here anymore, they practice here. What we found out is that with the league that they belong to versus what Long Lake's Little League was, there's two different ones, they have standards. So they have to play where the grass is infield. So ours were never designed that way. We could take the time and pull it all, put grass in it if we choose to, but that is what that league follows. So, but they practice out here. It is very busy during softball and practice season and stuff like that. So,
okay.
But that's what we can do out there. So just some thoughts to look for savings. The west playground, the parking lot needs some striping and some sealing, a little repair to look at that. Most of it's where an old tree was, where it grew up, and all the roots come through the parking lot. The basketball courts, these are two things we should really look at doing next year. The basketball court, they want a restoration where they would mill it, sand it, mill it down, and then make it better and paint the surface. That basketball court hasn't had any repair in a while. So we should do some of that. The tennis court, same thing, restoration and mill. Just kind of cleans it up. It's like when you do your roads, you resurface the roads and seal them. Those are a couple things we should look at before we have to actually tear it out, put all new asphalt in. Cedar Run Creek, just talking about putting cameras. Our cameras have been very successful with catching people doing things they shouldn't. This just gives them these are just those little Moultrie cameras, and check them. And timbers, we're still working through a process trying to do some stuff with the barn restoration. As you know, we've had it all cleaned out. Youth Work went and cleaned it all out, got all the stuff out. There's some stuff in the bottom, but it's not the dangerous stuff that was in the dung. We put all the stuff to stop all those from coming in. Youth Work has done all the replacement of a bunch of wood boards around the bottom. The paint, that's going to take a little bit of restoration paint. There are some grants that we're working through trying to go after, because it's kind of the bad paint, lead paint stuff, so it's got to be all taken care of and removed properly. That's another one. We've talked about forest management in the past over there, and keeping it clean. Conservancy has a rule that, though, if it falls, it stays. So that's how that one's been done for a long time. But doesn't mean we can't.
Is that fire safe?
Yeah, it's not always the best way to do it.
Fuel to the fire?
Fuel to the fire. Ask Canada.
Okay.
So,
Where's juveniles?
so those are some things we're working through on different ideas of what to do. So I think that part of it is bringing arborists in here, if that's what we choose to do, to make sure we maintain those. Conservancy responsibilities, they're making sure they're staying on the trail, which they just went over there and cleaned a bunch of the trails up and regraded. They put the diamond dust in there. They use cameras out there as trail counts and usage. They have them out there, so they can track how many people are going in and out. Twin Lakes Park, Gilbert Lodge with the wood floor in there. And it's interesting, we just had a call from the group that installed those, the Square Dancers that installed those, that they want to come back. They like what's going on down there, and they want to come back and start using it. But there's some wood floors that those need to be resurfaced eventually. The dorm, we should hear from in September for the bid packet, and then award sometime in October and begin sometime in November. So we're still continuing to raise funds and go through that process. Parking lot, over the years, they've had a lot of curb damage, and sometimes it makes it hard plowing, so it's either repair curbs or remove them around some of the islands. Building repairs, there's the garages in the back and the wood shed. The question is, do we repair them or remove them? So I'm working on some information. Those are the last 3 buildings that need some attention that are back there. There's a fishing pier that Grand Traverse County started down there but never finished. DNR, we've met with them and they want us to do more for that, so that special needs people have access for fishing. And that's what that whole area was made for, was for ADA, for them to be able to get down there and everybody to get down there. So so we're looking at that. Trail improvements and maintenance, Youth Work has been out working through and mowing, and we have one of our parks volunteers lives off the corner of the park, and he's always keeping the trails clear and mowing all that, so we're working through that. Working on potentially an entrance gate that's automated, which will open and close at certain times. So we're working through that process, but people are in can still get out, the people out can't get in, type stuff. Same with dumpster enclosures, we have a wall that protects it. And then the split rail fence around the bowl area is going bad, so that needs to be replaced. So those are some things at Twin Lakes. Crescent Shores that I think we ought to continue is the boat patrol officer for the patrol officer that's down there, as well as the boat attendant. I think that's working out well. Sean, do you have any input on it?
No, I would agree. I think so.
Yeah, we've got them now. They're down there, plus they're patrolling the other launches and going back and forth. They just not sitting down there. But it's been a great, deterrent of people coming off the lake, probably not the way they should. So it's just been great down there. There's not a lot of problems down there. So, and Andy and Warren down there doing the helping people to launch. People really love what's going on down there. Gilbert Park, we got that, we're working through the, trying to upgrade that launch. DNR's, they don't like that launch as well, as much, so they're not sure they want to help out unless we come up with some different ways for safety down there. Whether it's, we come up with some more safety marking down there. I know some people say just stop the traffic, and I don't think that's always the answer, but how do we make it more safer and go from there? But basically, the parking lot, restripe the fence, repair the fence. I'm working with the neighbor trying to figure out what we can do on that fence to get it fixed. So I've called him a couple times, I've not heard from him, so we'll keep working, trying to get that fence. But some of the older split rail fences are having some problem. We got a little bit of poison ivy we've been working on the hill, trying to clean up. And then the trailer parking lot, we've reached out for that grant to do that parking lot, but we have not heard back on that one yet. That was the one where we needed $60,000, I think, to do that. That was the one we approved that grant, and then we had to come up with $60,000 of it. So it'd be nice to get that done, because I'd rather have that parking lot paid for by a grant than have to do it eventually, so. Taylor Park, same thing with safety crossing, trying to come up with something with the county, see if they can mark that better or somehow. I don't know how they would do that, but upgrade the fencing. Our split rail fence has got some problems. It's getting older, and so we're working through that process. And then striping the parking lot. Cemetery, eventually, we haven't had anybody ask for them too much yet, but the crypt fees is one we're kind of looking at. When do we put a crypt in? The big thing is working through the continue planting trees. Our goal is to plant some this fall. As those trees get bigger and older, then we want to make sure, and that's what we found out in the old section, is that there's no trees. They all got old and died. And then, so the goal is trying to have some trees that continue to grow through that and create some barriers. The other is we're working through for this year, is that we may have a proposal soon to come up with putting, in the new area, we put everything on a 4x4 post with the water. In the old area, the water's down on the ground. So our goal is to redo the old area. So we're working through that. Those are some things that Rhonda's would like to see done down there. South Long Lake Forest area, we got those 40 acres that were given to us, which now we're contiguous from South Long Lake Park through that property to Camp Saki. And so we're working with Twin Lake, or with Green Lake, to try and figure out a trail system and all that process back there. So it's just been a fun project. We did find some people that were kind of mowed into our property, and so we're working through that, where we want to make sure they don't think it's theirs.
Yeah.
But it makes their lawn look nice on the backside. Bullhead, the big thing with that was just some, signage. Some of the signage that we got when we got that park is starting to get old, so we're working through that. Hopefully that'll be upgraded actually this year. And then continue with trail maintenance. Road funding, the question is, do we continue? We dropped it to 50,000 last year, and the state is actually cutting our revenue sharing by 30,000 this year. So they keep on cutting back on some of that stuff, so we'll have to look and see where we do and how we do roads. Again, roads are not something that we do or budget for in the past. It's only happened since 2021 that we started budgeting for roads.
Yeah.
And if we do anything. I know that there are several communities around us that have townships that actually approved budgets for roads this last time around. But the thing is trying to figure out what we do on some of these roads. So, because they're not getting better, and the road commission's not really doing anything about these roads. So we'll have to work through.
That's being done through villages then?
Yeah, the other townships around us are done by millages. They put a 1 or 2 mil millage on there, just in it, the money stays local, and then they decide to do it. But I think the hard part is who gets what? I think that's the same thing. The road commission deals with who gets what. So that would probably lie on us, and it would require the road commission to do more matching us.
Right, so we could actually get county money, state money coming through the county.
Yep.
At some point, we're going to need to do something with the roads, and the longer we wait, the more difficult, more expensive, and bigger problem it'll be. So I guess I would encourage looking into that.
Okay. So the reason we put money there was to help people that we're able to put a special assessment together to help offset some of that.
Yeah, it's
Not too many people are coming forward with, we got some that are $1.8 million to do the road, and people aren't showing up with those, so.
Yeah, which points to why we might need to look at a village to actually have more money than this that could be put towards it.
It's never an easy thing asking for more money.
No, I know.
So, but I think it's how do you come up with a plan and what's that look like? And so I figured I'd reach out to some of the other townships and kind of see what's going on. And it's just not an easy discussion.
And clearly, I guess the two biggest points there is, A, how much of a millage and how does that work? And then making the decisions that comes here, that's another. But to me, the decision, you could probably have the county continue to rate the roads, if they're county roads anyway, which is what they would be. So there'd probably still be some guideline we could rely on them for what's the most severe to next fix.
Right.
But anyway.
Okay. So those are the same things to talk about. Cameras in our parks continue the process like we mentioned earlier, but, Taylor, Gilbert, it's just the cameras it's just a deterrent that, you can't really go too far without being on a camera someplace today. And so the other is that a couple of ones that we could add. So some of them are trail cameras or add to our system. So timbers, so, basically anything had power and internet that we could put that there, and then we could put regular camera systems in to match the one that loops or the Moultrie and the other ones. And we talked about putting one at Twin Lakes Park entrance so it sees what's coming in and going. Staffing, in the budget, I'm working through the process of a 3% increase. Insurance rates, we're still working for those. We won't usually know those till closer to October, November in that area. So what I put in the budget I'm working through is that I basically took everybody, made them a year older, because that's what they will be, and then upped it by 15%. So that's what's in there. So just to be safe, because last year it ended up being 12%. So, and then I've had discussion with some of the staff, or like some of them feel that they save the township by not taking insurance. So then they take a 50% of what the premium would be, but they lose out on some of the HSA. So they're wondering if there's something that can be done. For some of them, it's like, I'm saving money for the township by not taking insurance. Is there a way to get some of that a little more level? So that's just some of the discussion with the staff. Assessors Department, a couple of big changes. Angela's retiring the end of March. So as you remember, we doubled up on that in the Assessors Department because Ken has been going through the training. He's finalizing the stuff. We're waiting to hear if he gets in the class. It's one of those things you have to apply for. So, the thought is that, he's going to be transitioning about the same time she's retiring. But there are, doesn't mean we can't outsource some of that to another community or assessor that can do that contract base to help through that transition with Ken. So the big thing with that is that, with Angela coming off, we don't have to pay health insurance or 11%, all that type of stuff. So that helps that with that. So that department, you'll see a big change in that so for September, I'll have more of the budgets in front of you if there's any input to change on any of these. So with that, so Ken, it goes back just to Ken and the deputy. And then on the Parks Department, Jim is retiring the end of September of next year. He's decided it's time for him to go play grandpa. So we have Eric, and then the plan is to hire somebody in June to help learn and transition through that kind of we did through. Not as much to learn in assessors, but there's a lot to teach when it comes to plowing and mowing and that type of stuff. Emergency services, we always have the discussion of the second ambulance. We're going through that process. Right now, I haven't done anything with it because of the chief. We don't have a chief down there, so I haven't done anything with it, but East Bay Township's still holding their ambulance if we want to buy that. So it's a pretty decent deal on that, but it's there, so we'll have some numbers potentially September-ish to look at that. And then also with the fire truck replacement process and what our plan is, and I've left all that to have that discussion when the chief starts. A couple of things we're working on that could finish up this year, which we talked a little bit about, was putting the mini splits and heating, cooling, and sleeping quarters. Other fire departments locally have started doing that so that each person can adjust it to their, but creating we have 4 rooms built, but what we're having sometimes was that someone's coming off and someone's coming on, and they don't have a room to go to, and they might have been all late, so they don't have any place. So our plan is to convert those 4 rooms into 6 rooms, and then create the mini splits in each of those, so we only have to do it once. So I'm working on, with Cornwell, supposed to come with a proposal for that process for down there. So that could be done 2006, or it could be done in next year. We'll have to figure out sleeping arrangements for a couple of them when we're under construction, though. Camera system, it's been asked to look at in putting that camera system in tune with ours instead of having their own down there. It's really no monitoring down there. But that's about $7,700 to match it into ours, do some changing. We've talked about staffing positions down there, trying to make sure we're ready with fire and EMS. We're going to do 900 some runs. On track to that, we were tracking lower, but now it seems to be tracking back up. So that's what we're working at, trying to discuss it, but I'm leaving that to work so we'll have that discussion when the new chief starts. Our union contract is up in '27. My goal is to start having negotiations at the end of this year. I'm trying to get it on the same calendar basis versus a middle of the year basis. So we'll see how that goes.
Any prospects for a chief? Anybody?
I have 2 interviews this week. We've pared it down to 2.
Okay.
So hopefully after these 2 interviews, we'll down to 1.
Okay.
And then we'll let you know who it is in September.
Okay. Good.
All local.
Nice.
That's why I'm not saying names.
Okay. Might be a neighbor?
It could be.
Uh-huh.
So again, budget time is Grand Traverse County. The Form 4029 is due in September, so we'll approve that at our September board meeting. And again, our budget's annually, so we have till the end of December to approve it. We just have to approve the 429. Okay, so let's just just want to get this out there so you guys can, any questions, or if there's anything you want to come back and say, hey, I think we really ought to move this up or that up, or I think we should look at this. That's what I'm asking. So.
One question, if I could ask now, relative to parks and activities, as we went through everything here, I think nearly every community, big or small, is doing significant things with pickleball. Anything that we have in the park side to look at doing anything?
We have pickleball over there, and there's a lot of time not used.
Yeah, I think it's the courts relative to courts that are going in elsewhere. And I don't want to get into the debate on it, I'm just curious to look at it. And when you see what's going in all around us, it's pretty significant. As opposed to just using the tennis courts in a second fashion.
I probably get 1 request a year for a pickleball court.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so a couple times what I've asked is that, like Green Lake, they built theirs. They have the property.
Right.
And Green Lake, the pickleballer, there's a pickleball association that if you belong to it,
okay,
then you go to them and they will help raise money, and that all was paid for by their pickleball association, other than the property and the trees cut down by Green Lake Township.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's good to know. Okay.
Unless you're Garfield Township, and then you have all that extra money they keep on giving back every year, so, and they have a lot of it.
They got a huge facility over there.
So, I mean, and that's, we have pickleball players, we have a lot of tennis players out there, and we just don't get the requests to do that. We looked at trying to convert the basketball courts to that.
Right.
But if you go out here, there are kids playing basketball on that court every day.
Oh.
So that it's just not, there's just, people have said, I can go to Green Lake, or I can go to Garfield and play, or I can go downtown, or go to Lake Ann.
Sure.
So that's just where they've gone, but it's literally about 1 person a year requested.
Right.
And now you're 2.
Just double it, all right.
So.
Yeah, just inquiring.
Yep.
I see what's happening all around, so, okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other inputs, comments?
I see a lot of, prospects for cameras, and boy, I mean, I just feel like that's such the key. How much is caught on a camera, and for our small amount of investment, I think it would be a good return,
So I can tell you the 2 young juveniles, I don't know if I call them adults yet, but 2 juveniles, they are on camera all over. They actually have them throwing a stone at a glass window, and then you can see the glass breaking as it comes down. So cameras, they're there, and it's our life we have to live with.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
there just wasn't a lot of cameras when we all grew up. I think I can say that. But today, they're just everywhere. And, we've caught people at Twin Lakes. We've caught people at Timbers. We've caught people at Cedar Run. I mean, it doesn't always catch them in the act, but it catches when you go back and look at it. You can have the time to take it and go after them.
And even a deterrent, some type of deterrent, if there's a sign that says you're being watched, then they're going to leave, so maybe it would deter some of that.
Right.
That's what I would really hope is the primary thing, that you're actually deterring it from
Yeah,
happening. So,
yeah.
it's one thing to catch them if they've done it, but hopefully
Yeah.
they're just choosing not to do it, where you got cameras and you're protecting an
Yeah.
asset, so.
But it also proves that there's a lot of great people out there that don't do anything wrong, that just walk through a park
Yep.
and enjoy them.
Right.
Yep.
So. Okay. All right, anything else on that? All right, then we'll go into our second public comment. Same rules apply. All right, hearing none. We have no budget status, but I'm guaranteed we'll have some next month.
Yeah.
And then Board of Trustee comments. I'm going to defer to Heidi real quick. She has some update from the voter stuff.
I do. Sam said we had a great election, and we did. 38% of our voters participated, which makes sense. It was a super warm, sunny, lovely day in August. Of those 38%, 3% went to early voting, 38% voted traditionally, and 59% voted by absentee ballot.
Did you say 3%?
3% went
Voted
to
early.
early voting in
Okay.
Green Lake, to the West Side Center. We'll have a bigger turnout in November. If I may too, I wanted to let Kay know that the correspondence you gave me at the last meeting did end up in the packet. When it comes in late on the desk, it doesn't go out in the original packet, but it gets added to the original in Rhonda's office. You can come look anytime you'd like. So it is part of the history. Every single time back there, the packet is always after the fact in her office, if it doesn't come in early. I just wanted you to know. Yeah.
All right. Any other trustee comments? I have a couple, always. Twin Lakes, the painting's going to be finished up by this Saturday. The playground mat around the play area. Youth Work removed all the old matting, which that was not a fun project. That was interesting stuff. So the new stuff was arrived today, and we'll be starting to install this week. Again, then we got a grant for a majority of that. Youth Work has been working and doing trail maintenance in various parks. And then the Timbers Pavilion cutting, both John, Jerry, and Don were there. Glenn Chown from the Conservancy and Bill Smith. It was just they wanted to do a little small with Bill Smith, who's the one who donated all the money for that in memory of his wife. And that was what he asked, to have that there. So if you want to go down there, it's just a neat how it come out of what it used to be the dining hall. If you ever remember the dining hall down there, it's just kind of cool how it come out. So it was a nice donation from him. So I have nothing else. If nobody else, we will adjourn at 7:13.